The clock on the wall ticked 2:08 a.m. when Emily's phone slipped from her hand and clattered to the floor. She stood frozen in her kitchen, barefoot on the cold tiles, staring at the dark hallway where the shadow had just moved. The shadow was tall, impossibly still, and it wasn't supposed to be there. Earlier that night, Emily had tucked in her 2 daughters, kissed her husband goodnight, and gone down for a glass of water. The house was dead silent until the creaking started. A floorboard upstairs groaned under weight. Then another. Emily whispered, "Mark?" But no answer came. He was asleep. Or was he? Grabbing her phone, she inched backward. The hallway light flickered, then went dark completely. Her hand shook as she dialed 911. The operator's voice came through. 911, what's your emergency? Emily's voice quivered. There's someone in my house. I saw them. The operator stayed calm. Ma'am, go somewhere safe, lock the door. Officers are en route. Stay on the line. Emily darted into the pantry and shut the door, crouching low. She could still see through the small slit in the wooden panel. The front door remained closed. No windows broken. Nothing seemed out of place. Yet someone was definitely there. Then came the knock. 3 soft taps on the pantry door. She stifled a scream. Her breathing grew heavier as she whispered into the phone. He's at the pantry. Please hurry. Ma'am, officers are 4 minutes out. Stay quiet. Stay hidden. The doorknob jiggled. Then silence. She didn't move, didn't breathe. Heavy footsteps walked away, towards the stairs. 2 minutes later, flashing lights washed over the living room. Blue and red danced across the walls as the front door burst open. Police, show yourself. Emily emerged shaking from the pantry as 3 officers searched the house. They didn't find anyone. Not upstairs, not in the closets. Nothing was disturbed. Nothing stolen. Ma'am, one officer asked, are you absolutely sure you saw someone? I swear it. He knocked on the pantry door. He was tall, had this long jacket like a coat. Her husband, Mark, had come down by now, looking dazed and confused. I didn't hear a thing, he mumbled. It was probably a dream. But Emily knew what she saw. The officers eventually left after checking every door and window. Everything locked. There were no signs of forced entry. Emily's family went back to bed, but she couldn't sleep. At 4:17 a.m., she was still sitting on the couch, sipping tea with her hand still trembling. That's when she heard a whisper. Faint, female, coming from the baby monitor. Her daughters were sound asleep. The voice said, he's still here. Emily dropped the cup. Tea spilled all over the rug. She stared at the monitor. There was movement. A figure in the corner of her youngest daughter's room. She ran, bursted through the door. The room was empty. Nothing there, no figure, no shadow. Just her daughter asleep in the crib. But the window latch was undone. That morning, Emily demanded the family stay in a hotel. She was done being told she was imagining things. Mark reluctantly agreed. But as she packed, she found something odd wedged behind the pantry shelf. A crumpled photo. It was faded and torn. A black and white picture of a man standing in front of her house. The same long coat, the same cold stare, and a date scrawled on the back, March 12, 1966. Exactly 59 years ago to the day. Emily's skin crawled. She showed the police, who launched an investigation. But nothing came up. No records of that man. No death reports linked to that house. They moved out within the month. 2 years later, the new tenants, a young couple with newborn, called police after finding a hidden crawl space behind the kitchen wall. Inside were old newspaper clippings. Local man vanishes after wife's murder. Body never found. Children claim to see Shadow Man in old farmhouse. House sold after mysterious break-ins and panic calls. The name of the victim? Emily Harper. It wasn't just a coincidence. Emily, our Emily, was named after her great-aunt, a woman who lived in that house, and was murdered in 1966. She never knew the full story. Her parents never told her. But her family was tied to that house, to the horror that lingered there. To this day, Emily doesn't know what came that night, whether it was the killer's ghost or the killer himself, still alive, still hiding. But one thing's for sure. She trusted her instincts. She made that 911 call, and it may have saved her family's life. What happened next? It shattered everything they believed in. Reality, safety, family history. Because sometimes the past doesn't just haunt you, it finds you and waits in the shadows.